Now, when the stock market closed this past week, Friday or yesterday, we saw the S&P 500 and the South Africa Top 40 closing up 2%. Now, this was quite a relief, as you already know that for the past 4 to 6 weeks, the stock market has been dropping sharply. This has been causing a serious panic, not only here in South Africa, but also outside of South Africa, which is something that, of course, during these tough times, I mean, I've seen on social media some of the retail investors panicking, selling their shares. Some are saying that they will never open the platform. They are not going to buy. They are just going to leave the platform as it is, which, ladies and gents, I must just tell you that though to others or the other retail investors, this is a chaotic moment, this is a chaotic season in the stock market. To others, retail investors, they are taking this opportunity to go in and load the boat in the stock market. I mean, the wonderful things that we saw, of course, in the US side, we saw the Nasdaq closing over 3.8%, which is something that must just show you that it looks like towards the end of this week, which is Friday to be specific, we saw the markets reacting positively. I mean, my portfolio personally, both locally and internationally, I mean, it recovered quite well. And yes, I mean, at some point in time along the week or beginning of the week, I saw my stock market portfolio, my entire portfolio, down heavily, or I was losing some good monies. And of course, those of you that follow me on social medias like Twitter, you will notice that I have been sort of like disclosing my sort of like losses. Of course, not showing the exact money I'm losing, but I've been sort of like showing of how much percentages I'm down on some of the stocks that, of course, I discuss on this channel. But one of the things that, of course, you will notice in those posts is that I continue to say that I'm going to load the boat onto these stocks. I will continue loading the boat into the stock market. Of course, you know that during these times, I mean, the S&P 500 itself, I've been also loading on this index, of course, but I was buying an ETF, or I invested on this S&P 500 using an ETF called the Vanguard S&P 500, which also track the main this S&P 500 index, which is something that getting to see these sharp drops on this stock market for the past 6 weeks has made me to start investing, or to start putting in more money into the Vanguard S&P 500, which tracks the top 500 companies, or which tracks the index, which tracks the top 500 companies in the US. Now, this is a good opportunity, like I always say, for you to probably load the boat, because like I said, the stock market for the past 6 weeks, it has been dropping. We've been seeing sharp falls, sharp drops. I mean, looking at the S&P 500 and the top 40, you'll notice that this week, of course, both of them, there was a point in time where they were down over 15%, which is something that must just show you that it is not happening, or we are not seeing stocks crashing in the US or in South Africa, but it is just something that is happening worldwide. Why? Because of high inflation, because the fact that the Federal Reserve continues to raise interest rates, and the fact that we get to know, or we know that the Federal Reserve is going to increase these interest rates until they curb this high inflation, is something that must just show us, or just show you as a retail investors, that we can expect the stock market to continue struggling, I think, for the rest of, I can say, 2022. Yes, in the short term, some of the stocks might recover here and there, but I think overall in the market this year, we are going to experience slow growth due to these interest rate hikes that are being imposed by the Federal Reserve. So expect headwinds, but these headwinds, like I said, are opportunities for you to probably load the boat onto the stock market. When other retail investors are panicking, make sure that on the stocks that you know that their value, their fundamentals, and their future prospects are still so amazing, I think you need to consider going in and probably load the boat onto those stocks. You need to go and probably also go and load into those ETFs that you've been wanting to buy, but they were high. Like myself, I told you that I bought the VOO, or this sharp falls that we have been witnessing have made me to go in and start buying the VOO, or the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, which is something that, should it continue dropping, I'm going to continue buying the S&P 500, but again, I'm still going to also buy the stocks that we talk a lot about on this channel. And of course, those of you that have been following me for some time, you already know the stocks that we discuss a lot on this channel. And of course, you know that whatever I'm saying here, it's not financial advice. I'm not, of course, putting a gun on your head and say buy these stocks, buy these ETFs. It's your own personal choice, because you know that these are just my opinions, man. But of course, to me, I personally believe that instead of retail investors panicking through these tough times, they ought to be taking a good opportunity and load the boat in the markets and go in the market full force. When other people are panicking, this is a good opportunity for you to load the boat. In fact, those of you that of course have subscribed, and those that will be subscribing after this video, tomorrow I'll release a video of one of the stocks that we talk a lot about on this channel, showing you that what the big fishes, the big financial institutions are doing, or specifically looking at that stock, which of course is they are buying that stock like crazy. They are buying or increasing their holdings on that stock like crazy. As the market continues to drop, as that stock continues to drop in terms of share price, the big fishes, the big financial institutions continue to pile, continue to load the boat onto that stock, which of course that is the video that I'll be releasing about that specific stock tomorrow. So stay tuned on that, because I believe that that will just show you, of course, what other big fishes, big financial institutions are doing on these markets. When you and me are panicking and selling our stocks, they are buying back those stocks. They are loading the boat, because they know that these things always happen. It is not the first time we're seeing the stock market crashing. It is something that has been happening all the time. Every time or every period of plus minus 10 years, we've been seeing stock market correction, stock market crashing, which after, of course, the year that such things happen, we have seen a recovery in the years after that, which is something that must motivate you and show you that though we are witnessing these sharp falls, at the end of the day, the stock market will recover, and you are going to gain or regain those gains that you had seen before these sharp falls. And something that also make it really interesting is if you are even reducing or loading the boat in the stocks, the ETFs you are buying, so that at least your average purchase share price can be down. Because guess what, when these ETFs, when these stocks recover, we are definitely going to get more returns, more profits, which is something that will be amazing. And I think you should definitely have that in mind when you are investing during these tough times. Otherwise, guys, I just thought I should just give you a quick video on what my opinions are and what you ought to be doing in the stock market. And of course, not saying that this is a professional financial advice. Like I said, these are just my opinions, to say that instead of you panicking through this current market condition, you have to be considering going in the market full force and loading the boat and making sure that you bring down your average purchase share price down. Otherwise, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit that likes button, comment and subscribe. And once you subscribe, don't forget to hit that notification bell so that YouTube can notify you every time we drop a new content. Otherwise, that's all from me, and I will see you in my next video, and God bless you all.